Hello and welcome back, fellow bad strategists. We are here again in Europathaw to fighting our enemies, and I have learned many a thing. Allow me to enlighten you. Okay, so assault gun rushes. Strong, good option. I actually trust light tank rushes more than I used to. So the reason why is this here, fuel consumption. It's at 8.2 for our Zions. Now if we find we have light tanks, Crusaders, 3.1. So, this is funny. The fuel consumption is not just based on the light engine. You put a light engine in your rovers, you put a light engine in your light tanks, and you put a light engine in your assault guns, but they all have different fuel consumptions. The rovers are at 0.9, and we could get them up to 1.5 if we gave them heavy armor. So actually, I think what it is that your buggies have less overall mass. There's some stat in here that's their like weight that's a consequence of the model type. So rovers naturally weigh less. Also, slapping a bigger gun and heavier armor on increases fuel consumption. So if you want to do a rush, going for light tanks is a good option because you only need like 1, maybe 2 battalions of light tanks, and the fuel consumption down at 3.1 is pretty good. Now, for assault guns, I've been thinking this through, and I've been working around this, and I think you do go 105mm, I think that's still the best, and 150mm steel plating. However, if you want to save, and you want to skimp, you can do a 105mm gun with 50mm steel plating and a light engine. You have to check to make sure it's mobile, but it'll probably work. And when the model gets upgraded enough, you can go from 50mm to 100mm plating and stay on a light engine if you're around like 120, 130 design on your engine design. That should be adequate. I've attempted Space Marine rushes to some success, but the problem with Space Marine rushes is that it takes a lot longer to tech up than it does to design models, so you really are a lot better off going with an armored rush. Armor's far more reliable and far more consistent than infantry. Okay, also, something I've looked at. I've heard democracy. Interesting thing about democracy. Democracy gives you cabinet retreat. So the cabinet retreat card, I've not seen what it does, but I suspect that cabinet retreat is like governor convention, except it applies specifically to your cabinet, which is all of these people. So all the most important people in your regime gain experience and they like you more. Very, very strong card. I've learned about that recently. I've not used it, but it seems very cool. Also, Fist. Love Fist. Fist is great. It's wonderful. I've tested it. It's so much easier to raise Mind instead of Fist. Mind government meritocracy is much, much easier than Fist government meritocracy. It's just, Fist is hard to do. It's very dependent upon you having a lot of neighbors, and you can raise Mind without having to have neighbors. Some of these are more or less difficult to raise. Definitely, Fist it has some friction with the other, with these other, what are they? Profiles? Other profiles? Yes. So I have a hard time getting Fist up, but we may be able to get it up if we're fortunate. Yeah, absolutely not. We're
Roger that.
Government is huge. Okay, corporation. We did a corp, right? Yeah. So meeting the CEO. I need to express how massive this card is, because maybe I haven't expressed it properly. You do 3 meetings with the CEO. Each meeting does, we'll be generous and say, we'll say it only does 5 points benefit to your government and 5 points detriment to your commerce. So double the commerce because that's the number of points of government we're saving. So it's 15 points each time. You do it 3 times. It's a 45-point swing in favor of either government or commerce. This is so huge. This is so necessary. If you don't have a CEO, you're going to be severely gimped in terms of your profile. It's massive, very expensive PowerPoint-wise to do, but once again, like, I just need to express how huge this is. Also, something else I learned. Armored units, oh my god. So, I'm dumb. So I thought wrong. Okay, so you have soft attack and soft defense, and you have hard attack and hard defense. So you know what I thought? I thought soft defense defended against soft attacks. But whether the attacks are soft or hard, it's not the attacks that are soft or hard. It's the attacker and the defender. The target. The targets are either soft or hard. So if you're being attacked by soft units, you use soft defense. They roll against your soft defense. That's massive. That means that this hard defense being low on let's see, assault guns. And the hard defense isn't actually lowered. It looks like I think only the hard attack is lowered. But if your hard defense is low, it doesn't matter. If you're only fighting infantry, they're soft attackers, so you use your soft defense against soft attackers. Massive to note, because it makes assault guns so much better. Something also worth knowing, when you get lasers, lasers have the same soft and hard attack value on assault guns. Which is weird, I don't know, maybe they have more hard attack value on not assault guns. Maybe it's like lasers normally have like twice the hard attack. I'm not sure, I've only seen them on assault guns. So you can make your assault guns quite competent against armor if you get down to lasers. With teching's slow, but we're gonna want to do that. Something we want is we're gonna want polymer armor, but that requires us to unlock 3 in chemistry, which is something I would normally overlook, but we're gonna need to do that to get polymer armor, and that could give us heavy combat armor. We want quad machine guns. Quad machine guns seem pretty great. They have actually like the same or worse stats than regular machine guns, but they have more firepower, so when they land a hit, they're more likely to kill, as I understand it. Okay, so we were just dealing with these guys. We're not at war with them yet, are we? We could cut them off. That would be quite funny. We're gonna try for that.
Affirmative.
It's not the best. It's not like we're not playing super safe.
Bring in the tank. Operation successful.
But that's hilarious. So. No.
Bring in the tank. Get out.
Oh, come on. We were so close. Oh, there's only one guy who wasn't routing. Okay, fine. You can do it that way. Okay. So also something important to note: starting strategies. I've tested a few starting strategies, and my feeling is there are 2 basic strategies for starting the game. Either you turtle up and defend every territory within 2 of your city, get a unit in every one of those tiles, and you keep your danger from rising, and you build up, and you get your economy rolling. You kind of need ruins to do it, but you can get away with just your nationalizing your starting recycling center. And you try to get industry, and you try to get model design council, and go into some sort of armored unit that can get you what you need. Light tanks being if you're low on fuel, assault guns being if you're okay on fuel, and you just need some firepower. You either do that, or you do more like what we're doing, where you do a rush for a nearby settlement. If there isn't a nearby settlement, I think you build your light industry first, because the light industry is absolutely massive, and if you're in a great position like we are in, then you get state companies, and state companies is huge. If we can get down to intensive worker training, it will be even better. Something else I learned, important, Okay, I respect worker happiness a little bit more now, because you'll end up with worker shortages from expanding as quickly as we're doing. What I've been doing is I've been trying to supplement it in most of my
Standing
games
by.
with colonists. But
Order received.
actually, the better way to do it is raise your worker salaries, which we can afford. We got 3,500 credits. Because they compare the worker salaries. I've said this before, but I don't actually know where to find the information for the private sector. They compare your salaries to the private sector salaries, and if you're paying more, then they're going to say, hey, we'll work for you, and we're not going to leave you to join the private sector. And if you're paying too much less, then even if they're happy, they might leave you to join the private sector. So raising your salaries is a big deal for
Order received.
keeping your workers coming. I've always looked down on it because it's a one-time modifier to happiness, right? But it's not just that. It also influences the rate at which people join or leave your worker pool. Yeah, so if we dropped our salaries to 0, it would drop happiness. If we raised them back up, it would raise happiness. If happiness drops on its own down to 0, we can drop salaries and raise them again to reset the happiness. It's a little bit weird. It's like, they should probably sort that out, but... Alright, I will also say I respect Space Marines. Space Marines are very good. But we're...
Let's go.
Operation
successful.
So much more reliable. Okay. Yeah, we want to push on these guys a little bit. These guys have got to be out of supply. I'm sure they're starving. If we could get some spies, I'd feel more comfortable, because I'd really like to know what is even happening over there. I can't seem to click on that territory, so we'll
Roger
start
that.
with slavers instead.
Yes.
Income tax going up. Well, failures are to be expected. We're going to burn a lot of power points bringing new leaders into our pool. Oh, also one more thing I gotta tell you. Oh my gosh. Governors. Governors have a lot of skills, and their skills get really high, and they can get absurd skill values. You can have over 100 in all of the final results on the right side here. And I will tell you, it means nothing if your governor doesn't like you. The most important trait your governor has is their relation with you. If it's high, they produce more output. If it's low, they don't. If it's low, I think it might also influence the chance of corruption. Corruption is the second most important thing for a governor, right? Well, actually corruption might be the most important, followed by relation. So if your governor is corrupt and they steal, it really upsets your people. So you go down to your mood mod, you can get like -3, -5, -7 from your governor's theft, which is huge. It will destroy a settlement. Completely destroy it if your governors are corrupt and they're stealing. So we'll have to keep an eye on this guy. More likely we'll keep an eye on the happiness, and if we notice corruption causing unhappiness, we will sack this guy regardless of how good he is. Because you can't have corrupt governors, it ruins you. That's a great argument for the democracy. Though I still think democracy costs a lot of money, though. I mean, we could afford it if we wanted to go democracy now, but we're sticking with meritocracy.
Standing by.
Yeah, so make sure your governors aren't corrupt. Make sure, more important than corruption, theft. The actual theft is the thing that's bad. Corruption just means they're likely to steal. If they're stealing at all, though, get rid of them. If they don't like you, replace them with someone who likes you, even if their stats are garbage. You don't need competent governors, you need governors who like you. Right, okay, yeah, so that's a lot of stuff to dump on you. Well, I'm gonna call the video here. We will be back next time, and when we are, we will try to figure out how to mush these guys, maybe?